evening of your time as you create time to exist. This evening of your time as you create time. What a wonderful creation. But a creation it is. Your own illusion, your own understanding of the idea of the way in which you have chosen to express the separation of yourself from all that is. Now, this evening of your time, as we co-create this evening to exist, this interaction, this discussion to exist, there will be something a little bit different than what has gone before. We have been discussing certain ideas these last 2 nights of your time, and with you also we shall discuss this new idea. Now, recognize that this idea, this new idea, we will be sharing this evening of your time. This singular notion will now be representative of the timing of certain allowances on your part, within yourself. Every idea, and we have shared many ideas with you these past 2 of your years' time, these past 2 of your orbits around your central star. We have shared many ideas. All that we have shared with you, now we can tell you, has in a sense had a particular structure, a particular focus. Those ideas now can function as the soil, as the foundation into which this singular crystalline seed, this new idea, can be planted. Now, recognize this is not against your will. Only according to your allowance still will this idea take effect. But in the sharing of this idea with you, it will then exist within your consciousness, consciously, and in your own timing, according to your own degree of willingness, you can then allow this seed to burst forth, take root in the soil. We have laid down the foundation, and bring forth a blossom that will be what you call the revelation that will allow you to finally physically perceive the idea of your own transition into fourth density. By physically perceiving, I mean that your physical reality, once you allow full recognition of the idea we will share with you to exist within you emotionally, knowingly, your physical reality will change as you have not seen it change for thousands of years. And it can be in what you call the twinkling of an eye. It will be up to you. Now, there will be no reason to judge again that the understanding in certain ways will come at different times for different individuals. That is still all a part of the timing. But this idea, this seed idea, will be what this revelation change will hinge upon. And now we can discuss this with you consciously, rather than subconsciously or unconsciously, as we have been doing. Now, in a sense, to review, we have discussed with you many ideas. We have discussed and shared the idea, along with many other entities, that you create your own reality. that you create the past and the future from the present, that one moment is not connected to the next, that you create the idea of time, that what you call memory is also still a present creation, that the present is the only time in which you ever exist, because it is the only time you can experience at any time. We have shared many of these ideas with you, and they have all gone into forming their own portion of the structure of the foundation that we have been laying down, co-creating together with you by your own allowance, your own accord. Now the structure is intact in whatever way it needs to be within each and every one of you. We have discussed that your imagination is real, that your dream reality is real, and that only your degree of willingness will allow you to perceive these things as real. Now, what we are going to share with you this evening of your time, this one idea, will be delivered in much the same manner as the other ideas. It will seem to be. It will seem to be a phrase like many other phrases, but there is a difference. For this is, in your terms, what will function as the key. And when you decide to turn it, the reality that you unlock will not be the reality you have known. And you will begin to experience, not just think about it, not just philosophize about it, but truly, physically, in your terms, experience it. We have discussed with you many ideas about what you call sanity and insanity. Simply the sensing of other realities that are no less real than your own, but simply not the mass agreed upon reality. That what you call sanity is only the mass agreed upon insanity. The idea that everything is an illusion and yet everything is real. Because you are the creator. You are the God. The universe is your creation. And what you imagine is real. And is a portion of that universe. And can be really experienced on every level, including physicality. We have discussed with you many times the idea of processes, patterns, rituals, tools, things that you may choose for yourselves to create in order to understand yourselves in the way you chose to understand yourselves in the past. You chose to be, and the manner in which you chose to unfold yourself. All these things will still be valid once we have shared the single idea with you. But in this way, you will have now incorporated this new idea, which will allow all that we have discussed to create this congruency, this concurrency, this simultaneity, this synchronicity, this explosion of revelation within you. Before we share this one idea, we will share a few more. We have discussed a few ideas about what you call your brain. Now recognize this. We have told you, and your own science has since discovered, that every thought you have, every idea that you create, physiologically changes the pathways in your brain. It rewires you. Every thought you have creates new pathways and eliminates the old ones. I do not mean that it opens and closes pathways that do not change. I mean there are pathways where there were none before, and where there were pathways there are none after the thought. You follow me? Now, in what you call revelation, the aligning of many different ideas, many different levels of your consciousness at once, the conscious recognition of your alignment in one moment, that is revelation, allows there to be a majority or a totality of rewiring in every portion of your brain. For you emerge from that revelation a completely new person. You are, in all reality, a completely new person in every moment of time that you create. For, as we have said, one moment is not connected to the next. You recreate yourself over and over and over again in the various moments of time that you also choose to create the idea you call a continuity, which is an illusion. Now, recognize this. What we have to say will not matter if you have shared with us once, never, or 1,000,000 times. If you are present this night of your night in this co-creation, you will understand what you need to understand. You do not ever have to have ever been here before. The fact that you are here now will allow you to know that you cannot be anywhere but where you are supposed to be. And in this way, therefore, trust that you will understand the idea on whatever level you need to, and trust that you have the foundation, therefore, already to understand the idea. Now, when the phrase is delivered, again, it will not be hypnosis. It will not be implanted against your will. It will simply be allowed into your conscious recognition, and you will do with it what you will, when you will. But again, recognize this. This is the fulcrum, seed crystal idea. And if you can understand this, your reality will change. One more thing about your brains. When you examine the idea, delve into scientifically what you call your brain, to understand your mentality, to understand your consciousness, recognize that your brain is wired according to your beliefs. And when you study brains, you study them with your brains. In this way, therefore, recognize that a brain cannot study a brain objectively, for it will only see what it is wired to see. Your reality exists in total. What you see of all that is only what you are wired to see. Thus, only by changing the idea of yourself will you allow yourself to rewire yourself in ways that will allow you to perceive the reality that exists all around you, but to which you are, to all intents and purposes, blind. You will reconnect and connect in ways that will give you different sight, different sense. Now, once this phrase is delivered, many of you, once again, may feel that you may understand it, as you say, intellectually, but not emotionally. All right, I understand the words you say, but I do not feel any difference. That is all right. That is the way your imagination chooses to accept the idea and the understanding now. But understand, it will be there. And that seed is what will explode in your mind, in your brain. Not physical explosion, but energy explosion that will, from the inside out, rewire completely your brain. And then the reality that you perceive will be a reflection of that rewiring. And it will be the fourth density, complete. At this time, therefore, all of you close your eyes and relax and take a deep breath. And if you are feeling feelings, feel them. If you are feeling fear, feel it. Live it. Love it. Enjoy yourself. For you are now all that you need to be in this moment to that you need to be at any other moment. Take 2 more breaths. Now, simply relax into your imagination and pay attention. Your present is not the result of your past. Your present is not the result of your past. Your present is not the result of your past. Your present is not the result of your past. Take a deep breath. Followed by 2 more. And you may open your eyes. You may emerge into your natural state of existence in this way. Recognize that once you allow the explosion of understanding to truly, emotionally, experientially understand that your present is not the result of your past, you will, once and for all, break the connection to the third density. And you will experience things in your physical reality that will be a reflection that you no longer have the need for what you call memory. For you will know everything you need to know in the present. In any situation that you create in the present, you will know what you need to know. You will begin to lose the ideas of the methodologies that you have created, that you call learning in the way you have created it. You will understand that you do not need to learn by process that which you can know by experience in the moment. Do you all follow me? Yes. Now, from this point forward, you will simply begin, in your own rate, at your own timing, to notice the increase of synchronicity in your life, the ecstatic explosion of coincidence, and perhaps, you will begin to forget your past. Do not fear that forgetting, for that forgetting is what will allow you to live in the moment and know everything that you need to know, to recognize that you are an unlimited being. Now, you are an unlimited being. I thank you for your co-creation. Welcome to fourth density. Sure.
I was thinking about, like, just from one moment or a fraction of a moment even to the next, I was thinking about, like, when I was a kid, I used to, like, jump out of a tree or something. From the point that I was, say, 3 feet above the ground to the point that I was 2 feet above the ground, it appears connected, but instead I was thinking that, like, looking at the entire jump as one experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can simply now recognize that you have the ability to create the type of reality that will allow you to be in the tree in one moment and on the ground the next, if that is what you wish. To have a seed one moment and a blossom the next, if that is what you wish. Whatever you create in your own universe, you will experience the amount of time you create to experience it in. Someone else may still need to see the blossom take a week. You will not. You will see it be a seed, you will see it be a blossom, and when you turn around to the next individual, they will tell you that they have seen the process of the growth, but you have not. This is the type of reality that fourth density experience is about.
Yeah, I was also thinking about like people who jump off the Empire State Building, and when they're halfway down, they think, maybe I don't want to jump. I mean, there are people that have like fallen like 5,000 feet or something and somehow have survived.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are many ideas in this, some of which is what we have been discussing with you. But simply, now, you will begin to lose sight of the processes and simply see the events themselves. That is why you will be so accelerated in fourth density. You will not spend time in the process. You will simply live in the moment. And fourth density will simply be one ecstatic moment after another. Then you.
Yeah, I certainly can go along with it. I think it's all wonderful. I do have a couple of questions about what you said earlier concerning the wiring in our brain.
Yes.
As far as I know, our neurophysiologists, first of all, have not been able to understand or describe the processes that make up consciousness. They have.
That is because consciousness is not a product of physicality.
Right.
Physicality is a product of consciousness.
Right. But as far as the memory mechanisms are concerned,
yes.
I don't think that they're considered to be pathways as such. They're more electrical activity.
That is the point. Pathway is the root of electrical activity, the interaction of electrical activity. That is pathway. You follow me?
Oh, I guess it depends how you define pathway.
Yes. Simply take it in whatever way you understand the ID to represent what you call the interaction that is necessary to define the process you are discussing.
Ah, okay. All right, thank you.
Now, as we have said, the brain, which is what they are using to explore the brain, cannot see itself objectively. They will not discover what they are after in a mental way. When they include consciousness in their equations to begin with, they will understand what they need to understand. They will not find it analytically. You never find anything analytically. If you think you have, it is only because your consciousness has created an understanding, and then you simply take yourself through the process of analyzing to find what you already know.
And it can be both.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes. This what you said tonight, that our present is not a result of our past. You've stated before in other terms.
Yes, many times.
You talked about parallel dimensions,
yes,
flipping from one dimension to the next, which is basically...
It has all been there, out in the open.
Right, and that, of course, that our moments are disconnected.
Yes.
Those are the same thing. Well, I've been doing something the last couple of months that has been applying that information.
Yes.
Coming up to a situation, I might perceive that there was something that I didn't prefer, so my methodology was to close my eyes, to decide that I was in a different dimension, and when I opened my eyes, I'd be in that different dimension.
Yes.
And my preference would be manifested in that different dimension.
Yes.
It was quite outstanding, even to changing traffic jam on the freeway to...
Yes.
Great.
These are all possibilities. For the ebb and flow of physical reality is but your illusion.
Now, our mass consciousness has... Well, you stated that our mass consciousness hasn't, I'll say, permitted a lot of this.
Yes.
But I presume that it's beginning to allow.
Yes.
Okay, that's why it's...
Yes. This is the timing. All ideas we have discussed with you in what you call the past have been related to the processes that were allowed by your mass consciousness. Now, instantaneousness is allowed.
Within that context, you said that we would be, quote, losing our memory, something like that, losing memory of the past.
In a sense, you can, yes.
However, does this, I presume that we could, any moment quote, in the past is a moment currently occurring in another dimension.
Yes, you will simply recognize that you are creating it in the present.
And accessing a connection to that other dimension.
In the present.
In the present.
Yes.
Great.
It is now not that you are reaching into a path for the information. You are becoming the idea in the present to have the information that you need.
Expanding dimension.
In a sense.
Yeah.
So we won't really forget anything.
Not so to speak.
Yeah.
But you may find that you will not relate
Or we will.
to the idea of a past situation in the way you have related to it previously, feeling that your present situation was a result of it.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me?
Yeah.
You will make a disconnection emotionally. It will simply be one more, this so-called past event you have had, one more way for you to choose to experience the present. Nothing more.
But at the same time, we can still understand the reality, quote, the reality of other people.
You can understand the concept of creating linear time.
Right. We can still relate to these people because we've been there.
Yes,
Okay.
for a while. In fourth density, for the most part, you will still be able to relate to it. Once you allow yourself what is called the end of fourth density and the merging into fifth, you may not relate to it anymore.
But you said yourself that you were on Ethatania on third.
And that is why we need to form what we have told you is, in a sense, a simulacrum, a model, so that we can understand your terminology and your idea and your concept of how you view time.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, in our society, we would not understand you.
Right, but we do that in any case, whether it's from fourth to third or third to second, or just between third and third. When we talk to people, we form models
Yes.
of what they're going through. Okay.
Yes!
So that's not really a different concept.
Not in that way.
Uh-huh.
Simply, what I am saying is that when you are in fifth, sixth, and seventh density, the models that you form in this way will be, let us say, something you are less and less used to forming.
What about if a person faces sudden death, and they get this flash of their entire life in front of their eyes? In fourth density, would there be less likely to have that type of experience?
Not necessarily. But it may for you simply be the blending from the physical to the non-physical state, because once you are in the non-physical state, that is what you perceive anyway, the totality of your lives, because it is all simultaneous.
Right.
Simply, the reason you perceive that so-called flash is because, well, let me just say, when people are in their dying point, they are very much in the moment. So they perceive the totality of the idea that they are in that moment.
Yeah, I thought of that in relation to my idea of perceiving the entire jump out of the tree as one experience.
Yes!
And the feeling of going through the air, which I love.
Yes, not a beginning, not an end, not a cause, not an effect, one event, the idea itself.
Yes, the entire lifetime is one experience.
Yes!
One
Proceed, then you.
Okay. One more question about what we said before. You have said also in the past that as you move through densities, each new density contains all the others below it.
Yes.
Now, in what
That
sense?
does not mean you have to experience the idea.
Okay, what
Simply that you can relate. You can create a relationship to the idea consciously.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me? Whereas what you are and have been doing with fourth density is forming the relationship unconsciously.
Okay.
Now, fourth density can look, in your terms, back to third consciously.
Right. Yeah, I noticed that. It's a very exciting process.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When I used the phrase spanning dimensions in another experience, and your response was, in a sense, could you define what you mean by in a sense? How is it?
Only that the idea, once again, of spanning dimensions is still third density terminology of experiencing the idea of space as being separate things.
Perhaps integrating dimensions would be a closer
Yes.
description. Good.
Thank you.
Bashar?
Use and use.
I want to share a creation of mine.
All right, and a creation will do as well.
I'd gone to the eye doctor to get, because I had an infection, so he says, in one of my eyes, and I got eye drops and from him. And then I went to work and I parked my car, and then about an hour later I went out to get the mail. And I'm driving along in my car, and I parked at the post office, and I looked in my rearview window, and there's this bag on the back of my car. I'm thinking, what is this bag doing on the back of my car? It looked like it had something in it. So I went around, and I looked in the bag, and it was 4 bags of carrots. Now, carrots, in our society, they're a symbol of healthy eyes. So I just got it. I started laughing. I said, my eyes are healthy. This is a symbol. So it was great. I didn't need the carrots. I just drove my car back and put the carrots back in the back of my car. When I came out a couple hours later, they were gone. It was fun.
Oh, very good, Jeff. Very synchronous. Very creative. You have been having much synchronicity in your life.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Several weeks ago, you said that Daryl had been a member of the League, but you yourself had not been a member of the League. And
Correct.
I wonder how that relates. If you were Daryl's future self, how could he be part of
Daryl is my past self only in the life he has on your planet as Daryl. You follow me? All right. Look at it this way. You have what you call a ladder, yes? You have rungs in between the two sides, yes? All right. Now, one side is one concept of linear time, one universal time track, where each rung intersects that pole is considered a linear life on that side of the ladder. You follow me? Where the rungs intersect the other pole is considered a linear life on that time track. You follow me? Now, the rungs do not have to connect to both sides. And in this case, you may simply assume that what I am saying is my pole and his pole have one common rung. All of the rest of my rungs do not connect into his pole. The rest of his rungs do not connect into mine. You follow me?
Would you consider Daryl to be a clear channel, a quote-unquote clear channel? In other words, does what you say come through him without any coloration?
Not without any. But it will be clear in the sense of valid for whomever we interact with. You follow me? In other words, the idea of clear will be, to me, that whoever is attracted, whoever I attract, will be there for the reason of receiving whatever information comes through. In other words, the idea of the trust is total. Yes.
There was the woman that I saw before. Her name is Cheryl, or her name was Cheryl Sturgis, and she's since become a speaker. Her name is now Car to Car. And I was at her birthday party recently, and she couldn't seem to stay in her body, and how it was explained. She started channeling. She would leave her body, and she would start channeling instantaneously. And what came out apparently was that she was going through some period of purge, and that at the end of 40 days, she would then become a clear channel.
All right. If that is her method, that is her method.
Okay. Well, so to me, her ex-husband was in fear that this would take such a toll on her body that she might not be able to survive.
All right. Then that fear, being in her reality, is also a part of her process.
Oh, I think it was more his fear than her fear.
Is she aware of it?
Aware of his? I don't know. He just told this to me.
If she is not aware of it, it is not part of her process. If she is, it is.
Okay.
It is as simple as that. Let your physical reality be an obvious reflection of what you believe it should be. You follow me?
Okay, yes. Okay, another question is concerning myself and the artworks that I channel. I know that I have personal guides by the name of Joseph and Florence. This was told to me. And when I channel artwork, I was wondering if it comes directly from them or through them, or if they're just there and it's coming from another dimension in which it was explained to me that
What does the experience feel like? Does it feel like what you wish to be in the moment you are doing it?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Then why are you choosing to create separation and labeling? In terms of where does it come from?
Oh, okay.
It all comes from you, no matter who else is involved.
Well,
You follow me?
I was just thinking that it comes through me and that it's...
That is then your creation of the idea of your interaction with other consciousness. It is still your creation, ultimately. Ultimately, it is still your creation.
Okay. Well, so what, or how much do these two particular guys of mine have?
As much as you create them to have. Do you not get the picture?
I get the picture of it.
All right. Recognize your imagination is real. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So in any given moment, however you choose to imagine your relationship to yourself and so-called other consciousness to be in that moment, that is what is real.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me? When you change it, that is real. When you change it again, that is real. Everything is real. You are the creator. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
All
I
right.
do. I take full responsibility.
Thank you.
I have one
All
more,
right.
one little question. I met a woman who told me about another person who was an iridologist, and this woman said that their theory is that there are only really two colors of eyes, blue and brown, when humans are born, and that they may change instantly or they may change after a while. And I was wondering if that's true and valid, or if
there is some physiological accuracy to this notion, but again, listen to yourself. I was wondering if that is true and valid. Everything is true and valid. Everything is true and valid.
Okay, well,
for the individuals that choose to believe that an idea is true and valid. Now, understand something. I have been speaking with your civilization for approximately what you call 2½ of your years. And I have been speaking in ways that have been reflection of the idea of your third density patterns. This is no longer the case. If you are going to create the idea of interaction with me now, be with me now. Be with yourself now.
So it's just if I choose to believe this theory, if I choose not to believe this theory.
It is up to you.
Right. Okay.
You are the gods. God! All that is did not create the universe. All that is created you. You created the universe. If you wish to say all that is created the universe, then all that is created the universe through you. Everything in the universe is your creation. And yours, and yours, and yours, and yours. Collectively and individually, because you are each your own universe. Whatever you believe is true and valid and accurate for you. For you and you alone is. And in your universe, that is what will work. That is what will be your law of physics. That is what you will experience. It does not matter that no one else might experience what you experience. Your universe and your experience in it is still really real. Because what you have been living in is the product of your imagination. Anyway, what you have for so long considered to be the only real reality, is like any idea, only what you choose to believe it has been. You follow me?
Yeah. Well, okay, you can look at this from another point of
All
view.
right.
That I attracted or I created this woman to come and tell me this.
Very good. Giving you an opportunity to recognize beliefs that exist within you and then choose which ones you prefer to be in your universe.
Okay, well, if I chose to believe that belief, then I was wondering...
Now, if you chose it then, does not mean you have to choose it now. You can, but you do not have
okay,
to.
well, that just, for the sake of argument, whatever, if I chose to believe that that was true,
Yes.
and that there are... she says you have not some kind of stuff that couldn't be in your body, that's in your body that would change the color of your eyes.
All right.
So if that's true,
yes.
I was wondering what stuff was in my body and what I should do to get rid of it.
What does your imagination tell you?
Oh, okay, I got it.
Now, what does having the idea of having stuff in your body that you should get rid of do for you? What does that idea do for you?
It makes me clean up my act as far as my...
Clean up your act?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that mean you are judging yourself to be less?
Well, no, I've just been trying... I have been eliminating certain things from my diet for a long time.
All right.
Just to make
Then simply talk to your body consciousness. You can recognize anything that is there that you do not prefer to be there. You will simply allow yourself to ingest what you feel reflects what you believe yourself to be. Talk to your body consciousness and listen to it when it talks to you. You follow me? Now, you can also understand that simply because someone tells you you have this and such and should do this and that, it is only a reflection of your own belief because you have attracted someone to tell you that. Therefore, you can simply do what they suggest and follow your belief in that way, or you can change the belief.
Mm-hmm.
Follow me?
How?
One moment. Now, the idea that was being discussed, our perception of it, is simply that it deals with what you call the endocrine system in your body. Take that as your clue and do your own discovering. But you do not have to. Thank you. Yes.
Yes, you've been talking about the fourth density, but in the past you said that your civilization exists in the third density as ours.
Third, fourth, fifth.
Right.
We have representational forms that you call body that exist in third density, and we have been using that idea of ourselves to interact with you with what you call our spacecraft, so that you would have a physiological representation.
But you could exist not impinged on the third density.
Yes. Our transformation is your transformation. Our transformation is your transformation.
But you've actually, your civilization has made the transformation to fourth density, whereas we have not.
All right. But in this way, the overall idea of the transformation you are experiencing is still a transformation for us, since we are portions of the same consciousness. Therefore, while it may not specifically be the same type of transformation, a transformation it is nonetheless, and simply allows us more opportunity to be more aware of our existence on all density levels simultaneously, and allows us to shift our focus a little bit closer to fifth. You follow me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Bashar?
Yes.
On that point, I'm creating a recollection of your having said that you existed in third and fourth dimension, density, and then say, several months ago, you started talking about fifth density, and it sounded to me like that was a transformation for you guys.
In a sense, you may say it was also a reflection of changes in your own transformation that allowed us to share the idea with you. Recognize that what we have been sharing with you has had a very specific focus. And in this way, were we to have started with certain things, they would not have been understood.
So, was it less that you actually had undergone a transformation in that same...
It is both.
Yeah, okay.
Because the transformation was that we were now co-creating a reality in which that
Bashar?
Yes.
So, what you were saying just now, just to get it clear, is that as a result of our transformation, no, it's a co-creation. Our transformation, your transformation
Yes.
is a co-creation.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So, what to continue on the things that we were talking earlier, like we are not the result of our past.
Yes.
Right? Well, does that mean also that we will be using our imagination in a different way or a different creative way?
You will be living in it. You will be experiencing your imagination as really as you have been experiencing physical reality. You follow me?
Yeah, but it's like a daydream.
Yes, you will, as we have said many times, be living your dreams. Did you think we were being figurative when we said you will be living your dreams? We were being quite literal.
I'm not talking about night dreams, I'm talking about daydreams. You think that you are...
What is the difference? Night dream, daydream?
Well, the difference is to me that in a night dream,
Yes.
my body is asleep, is totally at rest, and I'm more as the effect of the dream that I am when I'm...
All right, but that is your definition. There are, in your terms, individuals who have, quote-unquote, some pretty strong daydreams. Oh, hello, hello, anybody there? Come in, can you hear me? Hello? What? Were you talking to me? You follow me? Because that is how many individuals find themselves deeply within even a daydream, so they do not hear when other individuals are calling. They might as well be physically asleep. It is the same thing. You are simply in the meditative state. It is the same thing.
Right. I believe that because sometimes I have my dream or my daydreams are so powerful and so true that I really believe that I leave them at that time.
You do.
Yeah, I know.
All right. All we are saying is that now the barriers, the definitions that allow you to create the idea that a night dream, daydream, and awake physical state are different are now dissolving. It is all going to be one experience. One experience. We do not, in your terms, really ever sleep. You follow me?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. I follow that.
All right.
Yeah.
Because we are living in the dream and therefore never need to wake up into physical reality. We are awake.
That's right.
That is what is meant by living your dream. Truly experiencing your life as if it were the type of reality you think is only relegated to your night dreams. The impossible made possible.
But it's not tangible to me.
It will be.
Oh, I see what you mean. Because sometimes I have dreams that...
That is simply because you are still making a distinction between the dream reality and the physical reality in the way that says physical reality is more real.
No, I'm not saying that it's more real. It's just that it's more tangible as far as...
That is what I am saying. Pay attention for a moment. As long as you still wake up and remember having had a dream that does not seem to apply directly to what you experience as a tangibly physical reality, you are still making a difference.
Oh, I see what you mean. Instead of
Yes.
having living that dream,
Yes.
I think that I recall the dream
Yes.
I did live actually,
Yes.
but I put it in a different perspective.
Yes!
Got you.
Thank you! You!
As you're talking, I am doing some, call it thinking,
Yes.
or visualizing, or
Yes.
experiencing what you're saying.
Yes!
Okay, now this experience is, my understanding of what you say, different from what is going to be sometime in our concept of the future.
Yes. Yes.
There's a...
You will be inside your thought. Your thoughts will be the reality. You will be the thought. You will be the reality. You will experience it as you think it.
Okay, now as I'm talking to you,
Yes.
and hearing what you're saying now, I
Yes.
moved a notch from the original
Yes.
to this other place.
Yes.
Okay.
And now, and now, and now.
We keep on moving.
Yes.
And what we had originally co-created as 2.5 years of your time,
Yes.
how much longer of this co-creation is going to take before I'm all the way there?
You will never be all the way anywhere. Understand, you are an ongoing, eternal, infinite process of idea within your moment of now. In this way, however, let us say that the potential in your time frame linear terminology can be anywhere between now and the next 30 to 50 of your years. Anywhere in there. Depends upon the individual. It is up to you. One moment. Are you through?
Just to verify that, as we are talking now, you just use some linear concept,
Yes.
concept,
Yes.
which I am co-creating with you as you're talking.
Correct.
And does it follow that if you talk a little bit more, a little bit this way and that way, that we would arrive at that situation of fourth dimension in the shorter...
Can be. Yes.
So I'm listening with all ears. Thank you.
All right. Then do not be surprised at what you may see at any given moment.
Right.
What might pop in, pop out. Yes?
Okay, now what is the relationship? No, first of all, you said that nobody's going to go faster than anybody else.
Not
And
in the overall
Okay,
sense.
what is the relationship?
There is a bubble, let us say, of leeway that you will stay within in general terms, even though individuals, in your own terminology, some may be more accelerated than others. But you will stay within the bubble of acceptability that will allow you all together as a bubble to move into fourth density at once. You will not get ahead of anyone else in that way, though you may, in a sense, in your terms, be ahead of someone else on a personal level.
So I can function in fourth density all I want,
Yes.
but still interact with everybody else.
Yes.
And then when the time comes, when the actual transformation occurs, that is going to be happening for everybody
For everyone who chooses it.
who chooses it. Okay.
Yes.
What is the proportion of...
No, no, no. Yes.
In regards to the subject of living your dreams, you referred to the idea of somebody having a daydream and not being aware of physical reality, something or other, somebody calling them.
Yes.
On the other hand, somebody who is always aware of the physical reality, that doesn't mean that they're not living their dreams. It means it could be
Correct.
that their dream is their physical reality.
Correct. Your dream is your physical reality. Very good. Simply what we are saying is that once you are in the constant state of the moment of now, all of it will become your experiential reality. All of it. You will still have, just to be colloquial about it, the daydream, and you will be able to hear someone calling you simultaneously.
Yeah.
And it will all be one thing. One moment.
Why do you say no, no, no?
One moment. Simply because, first of all, to ask that type of information is to cause separation. And also because it is quite meaningless. Everyone that chooses to be fourth density, well, 100% of those people will be in fourth density. 100% of all the people that choose to be in third density will be in third density, and so forth. There is no way to give you anything that is, in your terms, meaningful in terms of what percentage will be in fourth and what percentage will be in third. It is a constantly shifting idea.
Okay.
Choices, at the moment they are made, completely eradicate the percentages. You follow me?
Yeah, great. So
All right, so let me do it this way then, if this is what you wish. Right now, 70%. Right now, 63.
Okay.
Right now, 55. Right now, 82. Right now, 94. What difference does it make? It is always changing.
okay, I got it. But that means also that we as individuals can talk to people and plant, quote, seeds or say things
Of
that
course.
make them change their minds.
Not make them change their
That
minds
will allow them to change their
if
minds.
they desire.
If they desire.
You can always share what you are, of course. You can share this idea with anyone you come in contact with because you would not come in contact with them if you could not. You follow me?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, my neck is hurting right now, and it wasn't hurting when you first started talking.
The back of your neck,
Yes,
between your shoulder blades, upper.
yes.
All right, relax. You're opening certain energy vortices. Relax. Be in the moment. Love it. Live it. Use your imagination. Talk to it. Let it talk to you.
So it's not any type of resistance or anything?
Only in the overall generalized sense of, let us say, what you might call the remnants of pieces of habit.
Oh, okay.
But nothing stronger than that.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
I have been having dual physical
Yes.
Is that just
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Since you're talking about living in the moment, living in dreams, I would like to take this opportunity to share with everyone that I have met a good dream of mine, which was inspired me by coming to this chapel and hearing a lot of the things that Bashar shared with us. And one of the ideas that he shared with us was about peace. And I thought of a fun way of taking his peace phrase and, or what would be the most fun way of boldly stating who you were, sharing the idea of peace with others in a very loving and subtle way, and being able to communicate those ideas. And I thought of T-shirts. And so the phrase is, you don't get peace by hating the word, you get peace by loving peace. And it's a white T-shirt because that's the color of peace, and blue is the color of communication. So if anyone is interested in sharing this idea with me, then I'll be available to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes.
Confirmation on the dream.
All right.
There was a time when I used to be able to create my dreams. I used to go to bed at night time and show some pictures there. And I would, let's say I wanted to have a romantic dream, or I wanted to have a powerful dream about a story that I was making.
Yes.
And I would have that dream.
Yes.
That means that my body would, I would fall asleep, I would go into this type of unconsciousness, which we call sleep.
Yes.
And I would have that dream.
Yes.
You know, but now I realize that I was living whatever I was doing at that time.
Yes.
You know? And then, but somehow I just decided at one point, I don't know when, to stop doing that.
All right.
And being the effect of whatever picture was coming on.
Yes. When you begin to live your dreams, you do not have to have dreams as only recollections in a physical reality. You can stop that and actually live the idea.
Right.
Does that answer your question?
Well, I don't know if there was a question. I think it was more like a statement.
Very good. Thank you.
I have a question.
All right.
Are the presence of many spacecraft still planned for what we call the future?
The presence of many spacecraft are around your world right now. You follow me?
Yes. That wasn't really my question.
The idea of creating and co-creating what you would call physiological interaction with other beings and those spacecraft is very much in the co-creational dream that your civilization and all of our civilizations are becoming. Yes.
At one point in the last several months, you said that it would occur sometime in the next 7 of our Earth years. Is that still
Yes.
possible?
Yes.
Okay. I have another question. because you have spoken of male and female energies.
Yes.
And it's a question which many people have written books about here on Earth.
Yes.
And wondered whether those kinds of distinctions were merely physiologically based. Anyway, I would...
In a sense, yes.
But
There is polarity, positive, negative, and the idea of those attributes experienced in physical reality create what you call maleness and femaleness. In the soul, there is not so much the idea of maleness, femaleness, but the polarity of the positive, negative energy. You follow me?
I follow you, but you have used, what interests me is that you have used the term from a, and you're, I gather when you use the term, you're coming from a place that is separate from physicality, and nevertheless you have used you have made the
My
distinction.
civilization has a physicality. We have male and female.
But is the fact, okay, that in the reality that we're all sharing
Yes.
here, the fact that there is male physicality and female physicality
Yes.
is the result of a distinction having been made, if you will, before the manifestation of physicality.
Yes. But in the soul, in the non-physical self, that polarity is not really looked at as, so to speak, maleness and femaleness. It is looked at as positive and negative polarity. In physical terms, and because you are physical and because we are physical, that is why we have been utilizing that term, even a disembodied soul has used that term many times because that is the idea you understand being expressed in your society. So we will use maleness and femaleness to express the ideas that are embodied in the positive negative polarity energy that does exist within every soul.
Could you speak of the maleness and the femaleness, or the positive and the negative, somewhere in between those two concepts? In other words...
Well, simply the idea, and it is known to your society by its, let us say, symbolic attribute. Simply, what you call the idea of maleness is, in a sense, what you recognize as assertiveness. Femaleness as nurturing, acceptance. Maleness as commandment in that way, aggressiveness, but not negative aggressiveness. And the femaleness, the idea of receptivity. Behold.
Are these distinctions applicable in other parts of the physical universe?
Oh,
not
yes.
just Earth.
Oh, yes!
How would it work on a soul level?
Simply that you have the interaction between and the blending of the idea of outwardness and inwardness simultaneously. The expression outwardly and the knowingness inwardly. That is that same expression. And any variation of that theme will be using one side or another, or a blending of the sides of the different polarities to different extents.
But
That's why a soul will experience many lifetimes, either female
Yes.
or
Yes, yes.
is there that you know of a civilization in which the beings present have chosen to call those two separate manifestations differently? For example, a civilization in which
There are many variations.
the female physical form is agreed upon to be assertive, etc., 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 all of those characteristics that we in this civilization call male.
Now, you can have assertiveness within a physical female in your own civilization.
No, I understand that.
All right. But that is simply then the recognition of what is called the maleness energy.
Right, I understand
within the female. Therefore, all right, there are civilizations that, yes, have created themselves to reverse the labeling. But that is only labeling. The idea that assertiveness is, in your terms, female, and receptivity, male. Yes, there are civilizations like that. But in this way, again, it is only labeling as per the experience they are living out.
Right.
And does not basically, fundamentally, make a difference in the idea that the two energies exist. And it does not matter to the soul how those energies are expressed in that way, because to the soul, it is not really the idea of maleness and femaleness. It is simply the idea of polarity.
It's only the idea of positive and negative.
Yes. And in another level, perhaps not even that, just the idea in and of itself of polarity. Yes.
I understand.
Yes.
But I understand that, but clearly the idea of receptivity
Yes.
is better aligned with a female body than a male body.
Why?
Physiologically.
Why?
receptive.
All right, but so what?
So
Depends upon what the scenario of your culture is.
That's true too. Okay. I have another question because of something you said earlier. Do you make a distinction between the mind and the brain? You use the term brain.
Yes,
earlier.
in a sense.
And
Your brain is the physical object, the physical symbol that allows your consciousness, non-physical consciousness, to become physical mentality or mind. The idea is that you generate with your non-physical consciousness electrical energy fields. That concept, acting through the symbol of the physical brain, generates a reflection, a symbolic reflection of your consciousness in physical terms, and you call it mind or mentality. You follow me?
no, I didn't.
All right. Look at your entire world at varying degrees of solidity in one electromotive magnetic fluid. All right? Thank you. Then, the expression of non-physical consciousness in a physical medium is perceived by you in the physical medium as mind or mentality, because it makes use of the electromagnetic fluid that has been created to generate the electromotive apparatus of the brain that can represent the idea of the consciousness's interaction into physical materiality. You follow me?
Okay.
That reflection, when perceived only through the physical senses of the artificial personality construct, is considered to be the mind, mentality, and it is the product of the action of consciousness upon the electromagnetic force. That is why you can have what you call ESP, because you are all in the same magnetic fluid, and your mentality can synchronize with another mentality, because it is simply a matter of oscillating the vibrational electromagnetic field at an identical pattern rate.
Okay, does that, in my thinking up to this point, it has seemed to, I understand that, it has seemed to me that the brain, the physical gray matter inside the skull,
Yes.
was merely it didn't have too much to do with that. In other words, you could accomplish the same things without that.
You are consciousness without matter, yes.
Okay.
But matter gives rise to mind. Mind is not consciousness.
So what is mind then?
Mind is the physiological representation of consciousness.
I thought brain was a physiological representation.
It is the physical apparatus. The mind, all right, let us say it is the physiological field that represents consciousness. The brain is the physiological apparatus that represents consciousness, but the mind is the physiological activation field, the electromotivation field that allows there to be activity of consciousness in matter.
I got
Activity.
it. So a mind, as you're using it, is part of this electromagnetic fluid.
Yes.
Got
It is a specific arrangement, a pattern of vibration, as determined by the consciousness.
Got it.
And it is what allows there to be interaction on physical levels. Thank you.
Bashar.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'd like to go back to the fourth intensity discussion that we had earlier. It seems to me that I've been having more and more occurrences of my life being like a dream.
Yes.
And I was wondering if that was relating to what you were talking about. You were talking about
You know it
dreaming.
is. Simple, is it not?
Almost too simple sometimes.
If you say so.
If we can create it to be too complex.
Yes, you can. And you have. Many times. Thank you, for it has been a loving creation, and it has gotten you where you are. That is why you do not need to judge what you have been, for it has gotten you where you are.
Beautiful.
And if you love yourself in the now, then you will love all that you have ever been.
Mm-hmm.
For now, in that way, is the idea of yourself. Now, you have made a connection that where you have been has gotten you where you are in that way, and I am using that terminology only linearly. Now, you have the opportunity to understand that everything that you are now is what gets you where you are. For now, the past is also now.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. You may all take a short break. All right, I'll say. Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Remember,
Yes.
As we progress through our transformation and we experience lightening of our bodies, as you have referred to,
Yes.
will we see a difference on our bathroom scales?
In a sense, you may choose to create that type of a symbol to represent the enlightenment of yourself, if you wish. Yes.
That's interesting.
Gravity will no longer hold you quite as hard. Yes.
You said earlier that everything is
Yes.
person believing something, and that's what it is, right?
For you, in your reality, yes.
In their reality. So, viewpoint that came to me,
Yes.
that may be true for some people, but not be true for somebody else.
Correct.
Either. So, whatever is true to that person. So,
Yes.
it's the result. If the person thinks that they really are.
Yes. And they will, in this way, then reflect that idea by remaining in the idea you call third density.
Okay, but also, since everything is true,
Yes.
does it mean that you have to admit or really believe that or have that concept fully that you know the result of your past to be able to go
If you
forward?
are creative enough to create the type of reality for yourself that says you can have a reality that is the idea of believing whatever you want to believe and still be wherever you want to be with it, then that will allow you to be in that reality. You may simply find, however, that you will, in your terms, simplify and eliminate definition bit by bit so that your reality will be the simplest definition it can be. You follow me?
Yeah, I think
All right? You can have a reality that contains what seems to be both of those ideas and still be where you want to be.
that's right.
But in this way, since you know you are always where you want to be, then in this way, the definition of your reality can simply be that, and not really need to create the symbols that reflect where you are. You simply will be where you are, no matter what definition that carries with it.
That's right.
For you.
Last Sunday I had this movie. I went to this movie, and some thought, like really to really experience life. I was really at that moment experiencing life.
Yes.
And my vision was very, very wide. I could have anything I wanted. And I
Yes.
could do anything I wanted and feel totally whatever it was.
Yes.
And I think it was just experiencing life and being able to cope.
Cope?
Well, that's not the right word, cope. I was regarding it as instead of coping, experiencing it.
Yes.
Which was that release the charge which was keeping me from not acting or doing things, because
especially when I have
Right.
received stress and that, and I don't want to come up. I'll just be studying this and I'm just
Very good. Then you are living life.
right.
Thank you very much for the sharing of your soul. Sharing.
Bashar.
You, then you.
Bashar, I'm asking you about as my consciousness loosens up suddenly,
Yes.
my sinuses
Yes.
and they can leak. I mean,
Yes.
I have noticed in watching your voice is one of them, and last Thursday at the water faucet. Then this week I do a lot of public speaking, and I found that
Yes.
this hearing, it's becoming embarrassing to stand up and be crying in front of
Why?
I don't know.
Perhaps if they see you expressing that much emotionality, they will believe that you believe what you are saying.
Well, I don't feel as if I'm crying, though. It's just like all of a sudden now the clear blue is starting tearing.
All right.
It doesn't seem like a normal function.
Tis natural, however,
Okay.
in terms of who you are and what you are at this moment. Now, if you are willing to let the energy flow in other ways, it does not have to flow in that way.
Oh, great. May I have some suggestions? I can, detour some of
What does your imagination tell you? Go ahead. Use it. Use it now.
Use it now. My goodness, what I would really like to do is have one good cleansing. I get rid of it all at once.
How do you feel?
Oh, very warm.
Yes.
Oh, extremely warm.
Yes. Now, you knew how to do this in the idea of what you call one of your past lives, American Indian in nature, and what you call the sweat lodge. Allow yourself to be that idea now. Be in your sweat lodge, sweat it out. Let it all sweat out of you into your auric field and assimilate in an energy fashion that will electrify the air that you breathe so that it is always for you balanced, refreshed, freshening, and exhilarating, clarifying, purifying. You may find, maybe, that when you do this, your temperature may then drop a bit. But that will be all right. All right. Thank you very much. All right.
Okay. This has to do with physiological changes too, but of a very different nature. Someone shared with you last Thursday about the panic attacks she has and the nausea, and I know you have explained before, you explained again about the friction that we perceive.
Yes.
And I have had a lot of that too. I haven't called them panic attacks, I've called them free-floating anxiety, but I think it's the same thing.
All right. How about excitement?
Well, excitement, okay. Except that excitement is fun, and that anxiety is very, very discomforting.
Well, then, if you call it excitement and let it be fun, then it will be.
I have, no, it's not. I have.
Why not?
I did it. And I
So
said,
what?
I said this is close to excitement, and
This is what?
This is excitement. It's the same thing, same energy as excitement, I
Yes.
think. Okay.
So, did you enjoy it?
No.
Why not? Then you did not believe it was
Probably
excitement.
not. Actually, I'm not really talking about that. What I'm talking about is that hearing her talk, who I thought, I think of as very, very enlightened, very high spiritually, made me sort of feel better, and I know this is very third density, but about
All right. I'm not judging it.
No, I didn't judge it. I was very aware.
I am not judging it.
Okay, and I wasn't judging it either. I was very aware of what was going on, but it was still uncomfortable. And relating that to something I shared a few weeks ago about how easy I thought it was to become my future self,
Yes.
at that time, even though I said to myself, okay, my future self doesn't feel that anymore, it's all integrated, and I am now.
Yes, it is am now. Not my future self doesn't feel it. Of course your future self doesn't feel it.
No. What I say is, I visualize, imagine what my future self's like,
yes.
and I say, I'm now my future self.
Yes.
Okay, that does not work during those times when there's that much anxiety occurring.
If you say so.
The thing that I'm saying here, or that I've thought about, is that talking to Julie,
yes.
She said that she's talked to some other friends of hers up north who are going through the same thing.
Yes.
And I've talked to other people who've gone through the same thing.
Yes.
And it is sort of comforting, even though we know that you've said it's fiction and all that, it's comforting to know that other people are going through that and it passes.
All right, very good.
While it happens, though.
Then that perhaps is one of your methodologies. And the idea of forming interaction with them perhaps is one of the purposes for why you are creating it.
Yeah, I thought about
If you
that.
can find in your imagination another way to create that interaction, then the purpose can be served in other ways other than the anxiety. If only.
I couldn't think of any other way.
Oh, come. You are imaginative. Do you really need anxiety as an excuse to interact with those individuals?
Oh, no.
All right.
No, it was after the fact that I thought, well, maybe that's the reason I went through that.
All right.
But I still don't know now. I haven't had it for a few days, and it's very nice.
All right.
But I still don't really know how to deal with it when it occurs.
Do you have it right now?
No.
Then you do not have to think about dealing with it, because you do not have it now.
Okay.
If you choose to have it now, deal with it then.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's not quite that simple.
That is your wiring talking.
True, I know. I'm very aware of that.
All right, it is up to you. Here's your way. You are indestructible.
Yes.
You are doing exactly what you wish to do.
I know that. And I walk around and this anxiety starts up, and I say to myself, why is this happening, you know?
Then simply ask yourself, well, all right, if I let my anxiety continue, do not judge it. If I let my anxiety continue and I enjoy having the anxiety or enjoy not enjoying having my anxiety, what is it doing for me? Ask yourself what it is doing for you. If there is something in your life you do not like, ask yourself what it does for you.
I did ask myself.
And what does it do for you?
Create a lot of doubts.
All right. Therefore, very lovingly showing you that you have them.
Okay.
That you have doubt. Allowing you consciously to see how many doubts you might have. So that you can then, one at a time, prefer something else. Follow me. That is then what it does for you, or at least one of the things it does for you. Show you that you have doubts that you do not prefer to have. Now that you are consciously aware you have the doubts, you can change it.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
You, then you.
It's nice being with you again. I appreciate the rewiring.
I appreciate your willingness to pull a few strings.
It's really hard to come by an experience like this in
Why?
normal life, so to speak.
Normal. Who wants to be normal? Be natural.
That's exactly it. I'm a teacher of a mixed group of students.
All right.
And a question that has come up before when discussing my experience with you is, they're curious, and I'm curious, to know what the origin of the races are on the Earth, and what is the significance of the divergence?
Thank you. Now, understand that you injected yourself into material form, in your terms, long ago. And in the creation of that idea of projecting yourself, injecting yourself into material form, there was and is the idea
to some degree, as you understand it, of what you call physiological evolution. And in that experience, there is, again, to some degree, as you understand it, to some degree, the idea of environmental conditions that make physiological changes in your species. Thus, in this way, what you call the different races will reflect not only environment, but attitudes which create the environments, which create the reflection of that idea of those beings have of themselves. Now, the idea of what you call five is exemplified throughout your humaniform vibration, and it is in this way why you are connected to many other races on other planets as well. This expression is simply one of the vibrations that is a numerological reflection of the way energy patterns itself in physical reality in your particular understanding. So you'll have the idea of the experience of the expression of fives everywhere. You are in this way experiencing yourself in that type of connection. You are allowing yourself the opportunity also to recognize that the so-called races that exist upon your planet at this time are reflective of the number, in a sense, of transformations you have had on your planet. In this way, you can understand that there have been other races, and in a sense, still are, other races. Some of these, to some extent, may emerge again, so to speak, in fourth density. For you will begin to recognize your number not just as 5, but also as 7. And in this way, there can be the idea of 7 races of yourself upon the planet at once in fourth density. And then you will have the complete spectrum. What you are looking at in this way is 5/7 of a complete spectrum of transformation. You have had the idea of a blue-tinged race on your planet. And there are, to some degree, the idea of greenish tinge, which you have utilized from time to time to reflect certain ideas that seem to come from off of your planet. But these are all part and parcel of your cosmology, your mentality, your physiology, and have represented different understandings of the self during the evolutionary process since the time you injected yourself in physiological matter. Now, you are simply utilizing 5/7 of the idea in the third density transformation you have created. Near the end of fourth density, you will reflect 7/7 of that idea in various ways, and that is what will allow you the transformation to fifth. Yes?
You were mentioning that in a destiny to pass through fourth density.
As you have chosen it, yes.
Well, if we choose, as we get used to being fourth density, we'll lose conception of what we call.
Yes.
Is it a matter of development?
It is a matter of living. That is all there is to it.
And experience.
Yes. You are not unqualified for fifth density now. You exist on all densities simultaneously. Simply the idea of your growth or graduation onto any idea you call another level is simply becoming more aware of the more of yourself that already exists there. Learning is the idea of remembering who you are in the now. Follow me.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Yes.
I'm experiencing
Hey.
and it feels almost like a peak just dropped that was holding on to the idea.
All right.
I wanted to clarify with you and ask you for wash of increasing the
Hey.
for all of us.
In this sense, You are feeling the energy washing through you in a sense. You are sensing, beginning to sense the process of the acceleration itself, which is one of the things you can sense with fourth density senses. You can sense energy in different ways. You are simply giving yourself a physiological interpretation of that energy.
Okay, and can you say how I just was getting today that
Yes. It is also your recognition of what we call the fundamental template upon which your physical reality is formed. The triangle being the least complex, the most simple figure that can support itself in your dimension. You follow me?
In the idea with personal relationships,
Yes.
I was experiencing a lot of equality with peace.
Yes.
In order to give the choice to make a different choice, opportunity.
Yes. You simply do not have to look at the triangle as having tension in order to hold itself together. It is supporting itself. Not in tension, not in strain. It is holding itself up. In your terminology, by its own bootstraps. You follow me?
Yeah, and I want to feel like parts of me want to be able to choose.
All right.
And that choice has never been possible.
Now, why do you think that is something to achieve?
I wasn't experiencing it.
All right, so what? Maybe you don't need to.
And some personality aspects want that.
All right, ask yourself why. If you find that the reasons for why you want that is the product of running away from yourself, then you'll have your answer. If you understand that the reason for why you sense that is the product of integrating in yourself, then you will experience it. Plain and simple. But at any given moment, allow whatever you are experiencing to be what you chose. And allow yourself to see how what you are experiencing is what you chose.
Is there something obvious?
Well, what is obviously going on in your reality? What is happening in your physical life? What is the situation?
New practice to somebody who is in a couple, knowing that there are two couples.
All right.
Existing.
All right.
Not knowing how to be full present with that in third density.
Can you imagine how you may allow yourself to interact with it fully in the idea you call fourth density? Can you imagine doing that?
I have, as fourth. I have felt it sitting. I have felt it.
Can you imagine yourself doing it? Have you done it?
Not with my body.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, until you live what you are giving yourself to experience, you will not know.
It doesn't give the bridge to it.
Why not?
I didn't get it.
You have to create it. Yes. If that is what is attracting you, be that idea. Live like you already are that type of interaction, and the bridge is there. All right. That is what I said. Ask yourself why. What do you fear will happen? What is, in your terminology, to use your word for a moment, what is, if that situation came true for you, what is the worst thing that could happen? Go ahead. Be really creative with this idea. If this relationship, do not talk in third, fourth densities, talk relationship. If the situation you are describing that you say you are attracted to and repelled by came to pass, what would be the worst that could happen? How do you do that? How will you shrink and disappear, and from where to where? kind of like going inside out. All right, what's wrong with that? Who says being inside out is a negative experience? All right. Well then, what does that mean? Size is relative. What does shrinking mean?
Not allowing
Enough
enough space for
space? Space. You are creating space, all right. You can create as much as you require, or as little as you require, but understand this. All of creation takes place in no space at all. You follow me? Space is an idea. Time is an idea. All of creation is taking place at no time in no space. Can you shrink farther down than that? Therefore, since you can't, you will always be in creation and always have enough space to do anything you wish. If space is what you want to do something in. You follow me? Therefore, shrink all you wish. You will not shrink into non-existence. That is not possible. Follow me? Could be. You tell me. All right. Well, let's look at it this way. If it's difficult for you to recognize that that may or may not be the so-called bottom line fear, then perhaps it is not so fearful after all. Since you can't really tell. Believe me, if you were afraid, you'd know it. Since you are wondering about whether or not to be afraid.
I was wondering what are the
words? Words? Story? You. You are the feeling. Be whatever feeling you wish to be. Simply live all you give yourself. The worst that can happen is that you will still have more life to live. And the best that can happen is that you will have more life to live. You follow me? So live. 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 Thank you.
Could you share a meditation?
How was that?
More?
More time? More space? More intensity? All right. All right. How about this one? Live life. How? Here now. That's how.
That's great.
How's that? That is a little more. Not too much. Is that enough? Oh, thank you. So are you. Say, life is beautiful. That is a meditation. Thank you. Cherry.
Yeah, Bashar.
All right.
I just realized something.
Oh, what do you do? Do share.
Okay. I've been having some very minor general pains in my teeth, and I was for a while kind of considering it that it was judging it as something wrong. In a very, very light fashion, okay?
All right.
That maybe I need to do something with them. I just realized they're undergoing changes.
Yes.
There's physiological changes that are actually positive
Yes.
in nature.
Some of what you may experience as the minor aches and pains are actually the result of physiological changes, yes. Now, many of these changes will be coming from chemical interactions in your glandular systems, because it is your glandular systems that is more directly linked to the energy system that you are. Thus, there may be little throbbings here and there, little nerve impulses because of the increase of chemical ideas that allow there to be more rapid flow of electrical stimulation here and there. But you are simply all evening out. Billions and billions of times a second. Do you follow me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Bashar,
Yes.
what would be the the absolute best scenario that your civilization could see from our planet? And maybe
Best? Your own.
well,
There is no better best. The best is your own.
Can I put it to you this way? What would please you most, for instance, that we
To share with you, as we are sharing. In any way that you wish to. To share, to share, to share.
Is there a worst then?
A worst?
Yes.
No.
It's all one.
Yes. All the same to us.
What if we blew ourselves up again? Like we did in Atlantis.
This is your planet.
But Bashar,
Yes?
several Wednesdays ago, you did say something which I think may relate to the question the man had.
All right. Do form the connective bridge.
What you said then was that, in fact, the ideal scene would be that we would get to a point in our development where these types of sessions would be completely unnecessary because
Correct. However, we love you whether you choose that or not.
Right.
We simply sense that that is the way you have chosen to go. Therefore, we enjoy that.
Are all fragments of the all that is proceeding in that general direction?
In a sense, yes.
Does Earth represent a farthest point from that awareness?
Oh, no.
There are worse off places.
Since you wish to use the term worse, I will go along with you for a moment simply because that is your terminology.
More separation.
There are places which make your Earth look like paradise.
In terms of the just separation,
Yes.
of their awareness.
There are civilizations that are experiencing a greater degree of separation than you are. Yes.
Would you describe the conditions on those civilizations?
Oh, you can imagine them.
You can imagine.
Let it say this way. You have a phrase, hell on earth.
Yeah.
All right.
Have we ever experienced any of those?
Of course. You have experienced it all.
So if we have experienced them, we will not have to experience them in the future.
It is up to you.
Oh, okay.
You always have the choice. Always.
We're in the mood, we'll experience it again.
Correct.
But it
If you are in the mood. Now, understand this. However, the you are now, no, never will.
Mm-hmm.
That is the point.
Mm-hmm.
You are always another you. So if you do not have the terminology for the term of another you, but if you decide to experience this again, it will not be you that experiences it. It will be another you from the you that you are. You follow me?
But if I chose to experience it, I would still be the one there experiencing. I mean, it would be my conscious.
That you may think it is.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
The reason I asked is in the raw material,
Yes.
which is a transcription of channelings which occurred in the
Yes.
last 5
Yes,
years.
yes.
The entity Ra says that there's a larger cry for help coming from beings here on Earth than any place else, which is why in their awareness
All right.
there's so much attention.
Now we
being
have
paid to
been
Earth.
through this a bit.
Okay.
Simply the idea is that your idea of yourself at this time is one of intense focus. And simply the terminology cry for help was put out in ways that individuals that needed to understand it would understand it. It is simply that you are making yourselves very well known. Your intention radiates with immense intensity.
Right. And the intention is to move forward.
Yes.
And so because we're in effect saying, hey, we're ready to be taught, please.
Then the reflection of that idea in any way, shape, or form that it can be is here to assist you, including us and them.
I see. Whereas these other civilizations that in some way experience a much greater separation from the all that is are not
may be choosing to simply not know that there is any other way.
And so there is
no intensity in that sense.
I got it.
They are in the middle of an experience and are not aware that there is another way to look at it. You have become aware there is another way to look at it, and it is that ability that gives you the choice. You. All right.
Thank you. At what point would we be ready to do a job like what you're doing?
Now, understand you do this in your dream states. You have but to be willing to live your dreams, and you can do it now. It's up to you.
Yes. Are there many humans actively involved in communication with other?
Yes.
Okay. Like we're going out. We're not like just. We are here receiving at this point in a way.
Yes.
Okay. But
of course, understand that in the, let us say, technical description, while you are doing that because you are in your dream state, you are not technically human while you are doing it.
Very good. Okay. Technically more of a pure soul.
Yes. Does this answer your question?
Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
Sure.
One moment. Okay. Then you.
At the break, I was talking to Daryl, and I was asking him if you had a connection.
Yes.
Is the association a higher?
Can be. Depends on how you wish to define differentiations in consciousness. Now, there is the creation of an idea that there is, so to speak, a counsel for your own system. And in a sense, it can be said that anyone wishing to interact with your system goes through that counsel to do so. Mm-hmm. And so there are, in that way, the creations of the idea of hierarchies. But in the functioning of an association, experientially, there is only one. And it is simply oneness. You follow me? You, in your physical reality, create the need to look at oneness as hierarchies. To those in the so-called hierarchy, it is simply oneness.
Okay. So getting back to the question, is really the higher. You said that they are basically one and the same thing.
Can be. Does not have to be. If there is a difference, you are making the distinction.
Okay, well, so is the actual definition of
oneness?
Okay, and same thing. Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
I am curious about.
Yes.
Can you tell me, or
simply that they existed pre and during the beginnings of what you call Atlantis. They were a race of emotional beings, and that is where the blue-tinged race was. They did not possess the ideas so much or express the ideas so much of analytical thought. They were instinctive and functioned in that way.
Were they healers as well?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes. Then you.
To continue on what the past were before.
Okay.
We are not the result of our past, right?
The present is not the result of the past.
The present is not the result of the past.
The present is not a result of the past. Yes.
So you said that there was the idea was like planting the seed, and then from there we would have an awareness, right? They go from the third to the fourth.
Yes.
Now I'm totally willing to have that.
All right.
Okay. How do I get this? I can have the concept. I know that I'm not the result of my past.
As I said, when you are totally willing to have it, you will be it. Do not berate yourself for feeling like you are not it yet. For you are it, but in the way you need to be it for now. You will have your experiences. Simply assume that you are it, that you understand it in any way you need to. The idea of saying, well, I am totally willing to be it, and then asking how is a contradiction.
Right.
Simply Keep living. Keep living. Live now. That's how.
Good, that's what I wanted.
Thank you.
Alright, just in this moment, I was experiencing.
All right.
I never experienced it that there's like a triple deja vu of knowing I'm experiencing it and have before and have before.
Yes.
Because what I was going to ask was, in my dream state, as far as in this physicality body,
Yes.
am I being my future self in a sense, Maya?
In a sense, yes.
Okay.
I say in a sense because you are still putting a label on it.
Okay, yeah.
You are actually in that way, quote unquote, more than Maya. You follow me? The dream self, the higher self, the oversoul, also contains the idea Maya. You can use it as a symbol to allow yourself to go where you know you are going. But it is only a symbol, even though it may be its own consciousness. Identifications going on that are real, that are links in your imagination universe that are real. But in your terminology, it is not the same person.
I think it's a Mayan in the
civilization.
No, the
Different.
Mayan.
Thank you. Yes.
I was going
Female.
to ask what happens to the people in your...
Some of them in this way transfer into other density dimensionality. As they were done with that scenario, the continent itself was, by what you call natural cataclysm, destroyed. Follow me.
Where was it located?
In what you call your Pacific Ocean. Follow me. In what you call your Pacific Ocean. In the area, also now that your Hawaiian Islands occupied, and also the area further south.
Okay.
And in earlier times, there was connection to what you call Asia, before that broke away, and connection to the northern parts of your North America, to some degree. Very, very, very long ago.
How many of our Earth years?
Hundreds of thousands.
Is there also a
Coming and going, yes.
Are there still cities in South
Oh, yes.
of that civilization?
A couple of civilizations, yes.
Do they contain records like the
Akashic records is something that in your term is not physical. You follow me? There are, however, remnants of ideas that will be, in your terms, records of things that will be discovered in your fourth density state, because then you will be ready to hear them. Close. Different terminology altogether, different experience altogether, but based on a similar understanding and a similar form of expression, yes. We sent a myriad of connections to that vibration, some of which can be Lemurian, some of which can be Atlantean, some of which can be, in your terminology, South American, Central American, some of which can be even the energy you call Arcturus, another star system, another density of reality altogether. There is, briefly, a few minutes of your time remaining.
I have another question.
All right.
Is it hundreds of thousands, or could it possibly be more than...
Specifically Lemuria, hundreds of thousands.
Then there were other on Earth.
Yes. They are not now any longer in your time track at all. And so you do not recognize them historically.
There would be no physical remnants of
No.
But they were on Earth?
Yes, in a sense, yes.
In the third density? Not really.
Second, third, or alternate third.
What's that?
Simply parallel dimensions.
Is there Is there life on Mars, and are there...
Not in your third density.
Fourth or fifth density?
Fourth? Yes.
How about on the moon?
Now, in our perception, in an alternate reality altogether, there is life on that body, but that body is not in any way, shape, or form as you perceive it in your dimension at all. It is not barren at all in that alternate dimension, but only in that alternate dimension do I immediately perceive the life you are requesting.
But not in this one.
Not in this one. There are artificial bases, but not what you call natural life. No.
There are artificial bases on the moon in our density?
Yes.
Constructed by whom?
By civilizations, not of your Earth.
And not of the moon?
No.
And they were not found by...
But yes,
by
they
Earth?
were.
They were found by the astronauts and the information was suppressed.
Yes.
Are they inhabited now?
Some, a few. Not as many as there used to be.
Are you referring to Ogata?
No. Although, some of that, I perceive, does cross-link here and there. Some of that. But I am simply making a general reference.
Physically right now, there are aliens on the moon?
Physically, right now, yes.
And this information was suppressed as a result of an inability of the astronauts to comprehend what they were observing?
Oh, no.
They knew what they were observing?
Oh, yes.
And the information was transmitted back to Space Command Center at NASA?
Yes.
And now authorities on Earth have prevented the information from becoming public for what purpose?
You do not know. Do you not understand the structure you have created your government to be? The idea that it does not recognize that unless it controls, it is not in power? You've heard of it?
Yes.
One of the strongest ideas of power in your civilization is what you call information. Now, the idea of allowing your civilization to recognize that your government does not need to rule you, that the universe is open to all to explore, would, in their eyes, take away their power, when in fact it would actually give them their power as individuals. But they do not understand this because that is not what you have all created them to be.
I understand that, but what I don't understand their thought process, thinking that by keeping this information secret, it increases their control.
Because in this way, as I just said, if you are aware, as you are right now, that the ability to interact with other beings and to interact with them on equal levels would bring with it the lack of need to have the removal of responsibility from you and institutionalize
as a government, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Then there is no purpose that they serve.
Got it. I understand.
Thank you. Now, they would actually, in doing that, actually be gaining their own personal power. But they do not understand that they are already as powerful as they need to be to have anything they want. They think, because of what you have all co-created the idea of your government to be, that only to control is to have power.
Right.
There's a big day is up.
Yes.
Now,
You are your governments.
did the astronauts have some interaction with these other people on the moon?
Not while in space, no. Not while on your moon, no. Simply not beyond what you call photographing and visually seeing. There has been face-to-face interaction on your Earth with your military and your government.
With extraterrestrials?
Yes.
Sure. I heard they even one of our guys was flying one of their spaceships, and he flipped the switch to go into the other dimension and blew the spaceship up.
No.
No.
That is, let us say, an exaggeration. a very large one.
What happens?
Well, why are these extraterrestrials choosing to place this technology in the hands of government and military officials?
They are not.
You just said that there's been some interaction.
Who said they were placing technology in your hands?
Well, why do they choose to have an interaction with those people as opposed to others?
Because you have allowed them to be the ones that have to be met first. Now, the idea is that by allowing that interaction to take place, then perhaps there is the ability for them to choose to realize that there is nothing to fear, and they can hang up their fear hats. You follow me?
I do follow you.
Because they are the ones that you have entrusted with the power over you.
Some of us have, yes.
Some, yes, enough of you have. Now, since not all of you have, that is why there is from time to time interaction with some individuals within your society as well, that are not of what you call your governmental structure. But again, the frequency with which that happens will completely be dependent upon your willingness to recognize that you are your government, to take back your responsibility, not by opposing them, but by loving them, and letting them function on equal levels with you, and letting yourself function on equal levels with them, so that you can share the idea that you all run your world. They do not have to run it for you in the sense of controlling what you know about it. They can run it with you, and if they choose to, let us say, perform an organizational service, then they will be serving, not controlling, not dominating, not living your life for you, telling you what is best for you and what is not.
Right. That was the essence, the kernel of what the Founding Fathers attempted to do.
Yes.
With the United States.
Yes. In a sense, though obviously you have one, and so that was the ultimate intention of your consciousness. But in a sense, to use your own terminology, you were never meant to have what you call a democracy. You were designed as what is called a republic.
Right.
The Star Wars program had as part of its rationale the interaction with these other civilizations.
In a sense, there is a great deal of fear about what is perceived to be the loss of that power. Now, also understand this, however. What you call your defense program is not all it seems to be. And a large portion of that idea is only for the purpose of allowing you to think you need protection. So they will stay in power. You follow me?
Yes.
Understand that they understand in no uncertain terms that we and other civilizations are not going to interfere. They know. They are establishing, in a sense, in your terms, scrambling for a foothold, because they understand inevitably that it will change. They are attempting to establish in ways that only they have understood, in the ways they only allow themselves to understand, that once your Earth opens up to the possibility of interaction with other civilizations, they will still want to be the representatives. They will still want to say, look at me. I am the most powerful one here. Deal with me. They do not understand. All they have been offered by us in our communication with them, they still do not quite understand in the way that we mean it. Simply that empowerment is the right of all. They do not believe, because you have created them not to be able to believe, that you can all run your own lives. They will only understand the idea of each and every one of you creating your own reality in terms you call anarchy and chaos. They do not understand synchronicity. an ecstatic explosion of coincidence and trust.
The founding fathers were onto that.
Yes.
And there is some suggestion that they were, we would call it inspired.
Yes.
Channeled.
Yes.
Right.
Were they?
Yes. Of themselves, of their higher consciousness, of their future selves. They were functioning from integrity, integration, in the idealized state. Not all the time.
No.
But when they created those ideas, yes. Briefly.
Yes, I was just curious. I read stories long ago that President Kennedy was visited by extraterrestrial beings, and that his disclosure about these beings led to his eventual assassination. Is there any truth in that?
Not really. There was interaction mostly in non-physical states. It is more the idea, not so much the quote-unquote disclosure of those events, those understandings, those knowing, but simply his willingness to apply them. You follow me?
His ideas were way ahead of his time.
Not so much ahead of his time, for that is not possible. But simply, let us say, no one wanted to play ball. And every one of you can recognize also the idea that you are the world consciousness, which is what you refer to usually as the Christ consciousness, which does not have to manifest exactly in that way. What you also call Buddha nature is the same consciousness. The world consciousness, the Christ consciousness. It is also the same energy as what American Indians called Kachina. You have exemplified many different ways of allowing the world consciousness to be embodied as a reflection for you of what you are. That is why your so-called second coming will not be an individual person, but the recognition of the world consciousness, the Christ consciousness, the Buddha nature, the Kachina energy in each and every one of you. Then you will create heaven on earth. So thank you for your sharing this night of your time and your willingness to co-create this particularly enjoyable now.
Thank you.
We will bid you exciting dream lives. We will bid you good night. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Daryl.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you.
And there's flyers and more information. And if anyone doesn't know about it,